Greetings to all of you. I want to talk today more about 3I-Atlas, this amazing interstellar being that's come into our solar system and how it's impacting us. And then I want to weave it into also talking about this upcoming new moon on October 21st, when 3I-Atlas will be moving into its superior conjunction behind the sun and activating us through those energies of the sun. I also want to mention that 3I-Atlas is in the sky right now, accompanied by two comets that also have come into our solar system. Comet 2025 R2 Swan and Comet 2025 A6 Lemmon. Comet Lemmon was discovered on January 3rd of this year. Comet Swan was discovered on September 10th. Both are visible in the sky right now. And I want to just comment on their locations as they're visible in the sky. Comet Swan is in the stars of Ophiuchus, again, calling us into connection with that constellation that is above the galactic center, that is guiding us to heal, to reconnect the energies of the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine, as he is the great healer, the serpent bearer, holding the serpent, the most ancient image of the great goddess. So that comet is again calling our attention to heal, just like Tucson-Atlas was when it was visible in October 2024 for a few weeks in the sky in the stars of Ophiuchus. And Comet Lemmon is located now in the stars of Ursa Major, one of the circumpolar constellations. And remember Ursa Major, if you follow the two stars at the end of the cup of the Dipper, the Big Dipper, it guides you to find Polaris or North Star, that center point in our swirling sky, again, that's guiding us back into alignment and into connection with center, with source. So we are being guided to take in this wisdom, take in this guidance and these powerful energies as they're coming to us from these comets and from 3I-Atlas, which I want to talk about more in depth now. But this is an extraordinary time with the appearance of 3I-Atlas in our solar system. It was discovered on July 1st of 2025. It will be moving very rapidly through our solar system and passing by Mars. It passed Mars on October 3rd. It will be in its closest pass to the sun, October 29th. Then it will pass Venus, November 3rd, and come close to the Earth, December 19th, and then pass by Jupiter on March 16th as it's moving out of our solar system. And as I talked about in an earlier video, part of what's so extraordinary about this interstellar, I want to call it interstellar being, not interstellar object. I absolutely believe that this has an enormous amount of consciousness. And whether it's some unusual form of comet or it's some kind of interstellar consciousness coming to us from another part of the galaxy and probably has been in existence for billions of years. This is an extraordinary energy that I believe has come into our solar system to help us awaken and to support us in this transformational time. I strongly encourage you to listen to the interview that I did with Kelly Kolodny, who did some extraordinary channeling of 3I-Atlas and its messages to us. I also listened this weekend to the healing session offered by Susie Miller. Susie Miller is the healer that has worked for decades with with autistic children, including nonverbal autistic children, and became a telepathic communicator herself. Through her interactions with them, she was featured on the telepathy tapes. She gave a healing session on October 10th and also tuned in to her experience of 3I-Atlas, along with some of the autistic children and adults that she works with, and described the energies of this interstellar being as being the energy of love, activating these higher frequencies, much like Kelly Kolodny talked about, to support us in this time of shift. As I tune in to 3I-Atlas, and I've been meditating and attuning to it, and I encourage you to take time, do a shamanic journey, sit and meditate, attune to this interstellar being. And as I tune into it, part of what I'm receiving is that this is emanating a high frequency, calling us into higher consciousness and calling us back into harmony, calling us to heal and come back into resonance with the consciousness of the cosmos, which is love. I've talked in other videos about my sense of how in ancient times we understood the song of the spheres. The Australian Indigenous people used to listen to the whale songs and the energies of the land. We've been in tune with the energies of the ley lines of the earth. And as Barbara Hand Klaus so beautifully talked about in the video that we did together last week, that attunement to the telluric realms, to the energies beneath the surface of the earth, but also to the energies of the sky. And that part of the wisdom of advanced ancient cultures was the awareness that we are in joy and in the fullness of who we are as humanity when we live in right relationship, right balance, right harmony with the energies of the earth and sky. When we attune to the song of the spheres and find our voice, our soul's song, to be a part of that harmonic, to be a part of that universal orchestration. In this recent period of time for us as humanity, this Kali Yuga time, where in this larger processional cycle or the Hindu Yuga cycle, we've been at our lowest level of consciousness. In this past 5,000 years in particular, we have gotten caught in discord, disharmony, destruction, disconnection from our true selves, disconnection from each other and from the earth and the sky. And as we've exited the Kali Yuga at the time of the equinox, March of this year, we're now being guided to be in an accelerated time of healing, awakening, and transformation. And how extraordinary is it that in the midst of this interstellar being comes into our solar system and is activating these high-level frequencies to guide us in this shift. Part of what I want to share more in depth today is the extraordinary synchronicity of this interstellar object's movement through our solar system. 3I-Atlas is moving through our solar system at an accelerated speed, ranging between 130 and about 150,000 miles an hour. And it's at just a 5-degree angle in relationship with our ecliptic, the plane of our ecliptic, meaning it's activating this heliosphere and this plane of our ecliptic, which is activating all of the planets in our solar system. but it makes close contact to some in particular. So it's activating our whole solar system and certain planets in particular, which I'll talk about in a minute. But remember, it was discovered July 1st and discovered in the sky near Serpens Cauda, that part of the serpent held in the arms of the serpent bearer, Ophiuchus, the great healer. And it was just above the galactic center. So it came in with this message: align with the galactic center. Remember, the galactic center is the birthplace of our galaxy. It is, as Bibhu Dev Misra would say, the source of the consciousness, the central sun that is emanating energy and consciousness throughout our galaxy. Now it's moving through, it moved through the stars of Libra. Now it's close to the stars of Virgo, and I'll talk about where it is located as it's moving by these different planets in a minute. Part of what I wanted to share in more depth today is the extraordinary synchronization of the movement of 3I-Atlas through our solar system. I could go into this in so much depth. There are so many levels to it, and I'll try to explore some of the deeper levels of it as we move through the next few lunar cycles and its pass by different planets. But it's extraordinary that it came in calling our attention to the galactic center and to Ophiuchus, the great healer. Then it's been moving through the stars of Libra. Now it's between Libra and Virgo. It will be making some very significant connections with the sun, with planets as it moves close to the star Spica. And I'll talk more about that as we get into the details of its pass by the sun and these different planets. But what I think is also amazing in terms of its synchronization is it's moved from those stars close to the galactic center, Ophiuchus, the great healer, Libra calling us into balance, Virgo, the harvest goddess, who's been associated in ancient times with Isis, the great mother, who can heal us, restore us, bring us back into balance. And it will be in its synchronization with these different points where it makes close contact to planets or the sun at very significant times. October 3rd, as it made its pass by Mars, it was a few days before the full moon. That was October 6th here in the east coast of the US, October 7th in Europe. But it was close to that full moon. Then October 21st, when it moves into its superior conjunction with the sun, it will be at the time of the new moon. It will be at its closest to the sun at a very significant time, the first quarter square between the sun and the moon, and it will be a very powerful time, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. Then it makes its pass by Venus, November 3rd, a few days before the full moon on November 5th. Then it makes its closest pass to the Earth on December 19th, the time of the new moon, and it will make its pass by Jupiter March 16th, 2 days before the new moon on March 18th. So 3I-Atlas is synchronizing its activation of the planets, Mars, Venus, Earth, Jupiter, in coordination with these times of the full moon or the new moon. And think about the full moon as guiding us to have clarity, bringing something into that light of consciousness. And what is it activating to bring into our consciousness? Mars, how we act, as I talked about in this earlier video, our third chakra, then Venus, fourth chakra, our hearts, and how are we integrating the sacred masculine and sacred feminine. Then it activates the earth at the time of the new moon and March, close to the new moon. What are we giving birth to? So it's guiding us to have clarity about what's out of balance, what's in disharmony, our connections to Mars and Venus, sacred masculine, sacred feminine. That's what's gotten out of balance in the Kali Yuga. It's guiding us into clarity, seeding new ways of holding those energies within us and activating new ways of being in connection with our third chakra, our ways of acting, our sense of self, and our fourth chakra, our hearts, our ways of being in relationship. And then it's seeding new ways to be on planet Earth. And as it seeds the new moon, as it passes by Jupiter, activating new beliefs, new forms, new ways and possibilities of being. It is like it's giving us this beautiful narrative of how we're being guided through this transitional time. And I also find it amazing. We exit the Kali Yuga at the time of equinox in March. Equinox, time of balance, of light and dark. It makes its pass by Mars a few shortly after the September equinox, balance, light and dark. It's making its closest pass to the sun a few days before the cross-quarter holiday here in the Northern Hemisphere known as Samhain. But these cross-quarter holidays are the midpoints between the equinoxes and the solstices, and in ancient times were seen as very powerful times when the veils between the worlds are thin. And it is a time of transformation. And here in the Northern Hemisphere, as the sun is activated by 3I-Atlas, we'll be moving into the dark of the year and the time to contemplate what do we need to release as we're preparing to move towards the winter solstice and seeding the energies of new life for what's to come. In the Southern Hemisphere, at that time, you'll be moving into the time of the light of the year. What are you bringing into fruition? What are you bringing into the light of consciousness? And it will activate Venus very close to that cross-quarter holiday, which is October 31st or November 1st. So it's really highlighting that cross-quarter holiday. And then as it makes its close pass to the Earth, it is a few days before the solstice, winter solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere, summer solstice in the Southern Hemisphere. The synchronization of 3I-Atlas with the lunar cycle and with these critical times of equinox, of solstice, of cross-quarter holidays. These are also the times that ancient cultures knew were increased times of activation of our ley lines, which support us in increasing our consciousness and getting messages from the earth and sky in those times. So 3I-Atlas in this synchronized dance is activating our awareness, activating the earth, calling us back into the capacity to hear and attune to the songs of the spheres and the song of the earth and bring our energies back into balance, back into right harmony. So I really encourage you in these coming months, tune in to these significant dates and times in this journey, this dance that we're in with 3I-Atlas, and how it is activating energies in these lunar cycles, which are seeding new ways of being and bringing that in to fullness for us. So it's activating the sun and the moon. It's activating our energy bodies. It's helping us heal and move into higher consciousness and open to the ways we're being called into transformation physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, energetically, if we open to these energies and their gifts to us. So, in the context of all of this, let me share about the energies of this upcoming new moon, which will be in synchronization with 3I-Atlas going into its superior conjunction with the sun. So here is the chart of the new moon on October 21st, when the sun and the moon will be at 28 degrees of Libra and opposite Chiron and Arizona in an out of sign square with Pluto and squaring Jupiter. This is close to a grand square. I usually keep a tighter orb with the grand square, but this is really an extraordinary configuration with the sun and moon, Jupiter, Chiron and Arizona, and Pluto and the asteroid Pallas Athene. So this is a time of transformation, being called back into balance, Libra, being supported in moving into new forms, Jupiter, new beliefs, and ways of being in compassion with and for each other, Cancer, and opposite Chiron. This is time to heal and time to heal the out of balanced Aries energies from the age of Aries, which is when we got caught in war, in our lowest level of consciousness, in these times of division, discord, destruction. And Arizona is guiding us into heightened creativity. Follow your own unique path, move in new directions, move into these new paradigms that we're being called into. And all of this is getting activated by those high frequencies of 3I-Atlas as it moves behind the sun and activates this new moon. It's also extraordinary that part of this configuration and this grand square will be Haumea, which is now at 2 degrees of Scorpio in its ongoing powerful square with Pluto. And remember, Haumea is that Hawaiian fertility goddess who understood the energies of renewal, of regeneration, of shape shifting, how to be in a process of transformation. She is guiding us to be in our own experience of transformation and regeneration, to move into new forms, to shape shift. And she's also guiding us to be in close connection with the earth as she's in her own process of transformation. And again, Barbara Hand-Clow and I had a conversation about some of these earth changes that we're in right now in our recent conversation, and I'll put that link below. But Haumea was also very associated with the sacredness of the earth and the importance of being in right relationship with nature. She was also associated not only with the gifts, the fertility of the earth, but she was the mother of Pele and therefore the mother of volcanoes. And so she holds that understanding, and that's particularly strong as she's in Scorpio, of these transformational energies of the earth, the life-giving energies of the earth, but also the energies of volcanoes, of storms, of earth changes. So we're being guided to honor this profound time of transformation that we're in and to be in right relationship with the earth as she's in her process of healing and transformation, so that we can be in that transformational process with her. I think it's also extraordinary that the Sabian symbol, the meaning of 28 degrees of Libra, according to Dane Rudhyar, is about conscious participation in seeking truth. It's about the realization and the awareness that we are a part of the greater light of the cosmos. And it's about seeking to open to those energies to support us in moving forward. Elias Lonsdale in the Chandra symbols describes this degree of the zodiac as about the sparkling awareness of the cutting edge of evolution. It's about the convergence of worlds to open a space for the radical unknown to come through and to heal, transform, and move us into change and into a new epoch, into radical transformation. So this new moon is calling us into conscious participation with the energies of the cosmos, calling us into connection with these extraordinary energies coming to us through 3I-Atlas, seeding and activating the sun at the time of this new moon, and then as it moves into its closest connection with the sun on October 29th. On October 29th, when 3I-Atlas is at its closest to the sun, we will have the sun in the sign of Scorpio, the moon in its first quarter square, conjunct Pluto. Transformation to move us into the Aquarian age. And remember, as Jeffrey Wolf Green would say, the first quarter square in the lunar cycle is about the crisis of action. It is a time to reflect, to meditate, to be aware that this is a choice point. We're in the beginning energies of a lunar cycle, and what are we meant to do with that light, that energy of this new lunar cycle? How are we meant to act? It's calling us to look at our own choices and how we are opening to being in this process of transformation or resisting it and clinging to the patterns of the past. And the moon is also in a powerful trine with Uranus, calling us into truth, calling us into conscious awareness. And it's in an out of sign sextile with Saturn and Neptune, now back in Pisces, guiding us to deepen in our spiritual consciousness, to move into new forms and ways of being. So this is such a powerful time, and I encourage you really tune into these times at the beginning of the lunar cycle, this first quarter square, and then I'll be talking more in depth in my next video about the pass of 3I-Atlas by Venus and then the movement into the full moon. But know that this is such a powerful period of months, which I see as being from March and the equinox of 2025, the March equinox, and the exit from the Kali Yuga to the next equinox, March 2026, a year later, when 3I-Atlas is exiting our solar system, but has seeded this radical, accelerated time of healing and transformation in this year's period of time from one equinox in March 2025 to March 2026. The equinox as that time of the balance of light and dark, of remembering how to come into harmony come into balance. Now let me show you where this new moon is in the sky on October 21st. So on October 21st, at the time of the new moon, we will have the sun and moon here close to the stars of Virgo and very close to the bright star Spica. Virgo is this ancient constellation dating back at least 15,000 years, and in ancient times was, in addition to the star Sirius, Virgo was seen as another association of Isis, the great mother who gifts us with the fruits of the earth. Spica was seen as the grain of wheat in the hand of the great goddess, the gifts of food, of nurturance, the gifts, the resources of the earth that bring us life and nurturance. But Spica is also seen, as Bernadette Brady would describe, as being associated with our gifts, our talents. What do we have to bring to be of service? It's associated with that energy of light and the gifts and talents that we have that are how we can be of service in community with others. So I see this new moon as also activating us to be attuning to our own creativity. I think this is such a heightened time of creativity as we're in this time of transition and transformation. And this new moon is saying, tune into what your gifts are. What is the light coming through you that you can bring out in service to others? And Venus is also in the stars of Virgo at this time. And I think it's very significant that Mars and Mercury are in the stars of Libra. Again, this theme about how do we bring our thoughts, our actions, our lives back into balance and harmony, Libra. And now at the time that 3I-Atlas makes its closest pass to the sun on October 29th, the sun will be between the stars of Virgo and Libra. And again, Venus will be in the stars of Virgo, now close to Spica. Mars and Mercury still in the stars of Libra, again, calling us to look at how are we in balance so that we can bring our gifts out in service to others. As I attune to the energies of these stars and planets, the energies of this lunar cycle, the energies of 3I-Atlas, I find myself in awe and in wonder at the profound consciousness of our cosmos, that divine love and wisdom that surrounds us, is within us, is supporting us, is step by step guiding us through this time of mystery, this liminal time, this time of transition and transformation into radically new ways of being. We are so held and supported. And the key is to open to these energies, to trust them, to allow them to infuse us and to support us in our awakening and in our healing so that we can open more and more fully to this higher consciousness that we're being called into, and to open more and more fully to our hearts and that remembrance of who we truly are and what it means to live in harmony, to hear the song of the spheres, to hear the rhythms and the heartbeat of Mother Earth, to bring our soul song in to that harmonic, to be bringing our creativity, our gifts into that orchestration and beauty of music, of harmony and right relationship and balance in all of life. To come back in to that remembrance that we are a part of the oneness of all that is. This is what we're being called into. This is the evolutionary leap that we can make as humanity. but the choice is ours. May we open to these energies and honor them and be transformed by them to move into these new ways of being and into a new earth. And again, I'm deeply grateful for this community, for your comments, for your support, for your consciousness, for the ways in which we are sharing our light and gifts with each other to be in this incredible time of creativity, of healing, of transformation. Blessings and love to all of you. Blessed be.